Welcome sports fans, welcome back to this That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting and riveting sports topics, discussions and debates on the internet. But before I get into today's video, don't forget to like this one, leave a comment and subscribe to this That Sports TV. But the one more thing for me, and that's to share the video to at least 10 people, get to 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end of the day? Yes people. And it's Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is the topic, that's what we're talking about. But I hope to bring some added perspective on it. Maybe ask some questions I probably will never think about. And giving us something to think about. Is it? Straight up and down. But anyways, people, as you already know, I'm not gonna do the long intro, I'm not gonna do the bag of small talk. May I get into the meat of the matter. So as you guys already know, Mason Greenwood, it is confirmed that Mason Greenwood is going to represent Jamaica. He's currently waiting on his passport, and I don't think that is as complicated as NASA launching a rocket. So he should get that passport very soon and be representing Jamaica, hopefully by the next time we play. So before we get into the questions that I have and the added perspective that I'm going to give, let's just talk about the article that was released, just to add some credibility to the story. And just for who don't already know, which if you live on the rock there, you probably don't know. Everybody talk about this already. It is a going thing. The news is credible, but regardless, I'm still gonna read it. I'm still gonna add some journalistic element to this or that sports TV. So anyways, and I chose a local media house instead of going to BBC or whatever, because I think the information is reliable, and I guess we can trust RJR. So this is Radio News Jamaica. The title is obviously Greenwood completes his switch of allegiance to represent Jamaica, and the article says Radio Jamaica Sports has been reliably informed that former Manchester United star player Mason Greenwood has completed his switch of allegiance to represent Jamaica and is now awaiting receipt of his Jamaican passport. As I said, people, that is not no rocket science. I don't think that him should wait more than 3 days for him Jamaican passport. That should be expedited, and he should have his passport in hand and make sure everything starts. He's supposed to be a part of the process now. Him coach supposed to talk to him, all that's supposed to go on. The article goes on to say the development comes almost 1 year after news broke that Greenwood formally requested his switch of allegiance from England to represent Jamaica. Obviously the process has been delayed, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to all of that. Process was delayed because you don't know, some documents did missing. He qualifies through his grandmother, but some documents did missing, I think for his mother or something. I don't know. You understand? But the process was delayed. To start, the first thing I'm going to talk about, because I kind of have we just have the questions I'm going to ask, and then we just go off. I don't know what I'm about to say. I will form my opinions, but I'm put it together for come and express it. So we are going to go through it together, people, and talk to me in the comment section. Tell me what you think about what I'm saying. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it don't make sense, tell me. The first thing I'm going to talk about is, do we need Mason Greenwood? That's the first thing, because the truth is we've been talking about Mason Greenwood for years. We know that Mason Greenwood can qualify to play for the Reggae Boys, and so we've been saying that Tapa for go for Mason Greenwood, Paul Al for go for Mason Greenwood, I'm arguing to go for Mason Greenwood. But the truth is Mason Greenwood didn't necessarily want to represent Jamaica. You understand? And that is just the harsh reality, people. And I've always said that I don't knock a man for options. And if you choose, you choose. If circumstances present something different and you have to choose what you wouldn't normally choose, then that is also fine. So remember, people, Mason Greenwood play for England at the youth level, at the junior level, and now a senior time him qualify for play for Jamaica. Him really did want to play for England. Obviously we know the scandal we're going on. We're not getting on the personal side of things, because that's not what we do here. But you know, the lawsuit and blah 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 that get quashed, they're fine now. See, Manchester United never want to touch him, England not going to touch him. And that is now how Jamaica gets presented with the opportunity to have Mason Greenwood represent us. Now, how we feel about that, everybody can have their own opinion. And that is also something that I'm going to talk about if we accept him and give him the redemption or whatever. But as far as do we need him and how we're behaving, I don't think that we need him. And it's just the truth. And you can go on to ask, what do we need him for? If you think about it, Mason Greenwood is a needle mover. He's going to make the team better. But what we have, the task that we have at hand, is to make it to the World Cup. That's just the truth. What we need to do is make it to the World Cup. Mason Greenwood is not going to necessarily increase our chances of making it to the World Cup any greater than it already is. You know, he's a great player. He's a great player. He's a game winner. But Mason Greenwood not go on. May could not win the game them 2-1 and win it 3-2 or 3-1 or one more goal here or there. We're going to win the games. The group is very easy. We're going to make it to the World Cup. Mason Greenwood is not going to be the reason why we make it to the World Cup, and not having Mason Greenwood is not going to be the reason why we didn't make it to the World Cup. So do we need him to go to the World Cup? No. That is just the truth. No, phenomenal player. Again, I think a superstar talent. Obviously, circumstances cause him for not ascend to the levels that he's supposed to be at. But remember, Mason Greenwood is supposed to be at the levels of a Bukayo Saka and a Phil Foden. That is how I see him. I see him as a world-class talent. That is where he's supposed to be. But he's not there. But that doesn't change the fact that he's a world-class talent. Jamaica will be acquiring a world-class talent. But as far as this World Cup cycle go, this World Cup qualifying cycle goes, Mason Greenwood is not needed to take Jamaica to the World Cup. Now, is he needed to help us to perform well in the World? I just said Gold Cup. I mean World Cup. Now, is he needed to help us to perform well in the World Cup? Yeah, I'd say yeah. Mason Greenwood would definitely give us a better chance of performing well in the World Cup. Mason Greenwood would definitely be one for the future. He's still a young man. Some would say entering his prime or whatever. So he would definitely help the Jamaican setup. He'll definitely add quality to the setup. He'll definitely be another game winner in the team. He'll definitely add some pace up front. He'll definitely add some threat and some danger. Teams have to be careful how they approach Jamaica now. Zine, so he will definitely add that, but that is after the World Cup qualifiers. As far as this World Cup qualifiers go, I don't think Mason Greenwood is needed, but I accept him 100%. I want him to come in. But the question is Mason Greenwood needed? Do we need him? And my answer to that is no, we do not need him. Now, the next thing we have to talk about is should we accept him? We're not gonna act like we live under a rock, people. We're not gonna act like say we're afraid to talk about the things them either, but it's just a matter of we can't ignore the elephant in the room. And the big pink and white elephant is that Mason Greenwood was charged for some crazy things. Crazy things. You get me? I say, and he was charged. The case, I think he was found not guilty or the case was dropped. One of them. We don't know the intricacies of it. But either way, he's now married to the lady, married to his accuser. Them have a kid. The father was a part of the case coming down or the settlement. Everything is fine with them right now. Or at least I don't know if everything is fine, but in the public eyes, it's all fine. The case is gone. It is no more. But the question still needs to be asked. Should we accept Mason Greenwood in this Jamaican team? Should we want Mason Greenwood to represent Jamaica? Should we give him the redemption that maybe some would say he needs? And my thing is, boy, it rough people, because it's almost like a cat between a rock and a hard place. Me not gonna ignore the accusations. Me not gonna ignore the charge. Me not gonna ignore it. I think what he was accused of, he did. We can't ignore the voice notes that we heard. We can't ignore the actual charge and statement that was made. We can't ignore it, people. And me and Joe Mar talked about this a couple years ago, where not even a couple years ago. I think me and Joe Mar talked about this last year when it was a point of discussion. And I was saying, bro, if you try out for me, I'm gonna forgive you. And the change say they try out for me. You know them where they, and if you commit an act and it so happened that you weren't punished for the act, or the accuser now say, yo, them now follow it up, in a change that you did what you did. You understand? So my perspective is, I still look at him in that light. Obviously people can change, people need forgiveness and we should forgive, but I still, some things I don't really have much tolerance for people, and that is one of those things that I don't really have to find much excuse for. I'm not going to defend him. I just think it is wrong what he did, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna get into the personal issues again, people, but we just need to build the context. No, I understand that. I still understand that he did that. It is what it is. No, from a football point of view, if Manchester United don't want to touch him, if England don't want to touch him, and Jamaica want him, what does that say about Jamaica? What does that say about our federation? What does that say about our people and our supporters? What does that say about what we are willing to accept? I will see what Liam Bailey are going with right now, and people are saying not to play for the national team anymore. But the next day, the literal next day, not even next day, this is the next day, but this news come out before. So everybody that accept Mason Greenwood, right? And then news come out about Liam Bailey, which is not as worse as Mason Greenwood. And now people are saying Liam Bailey not to play for the national team anymore. So it's kind of confusing. But again, I ask the question, if England are willing to have him play for them, if Manchester United are willing to have him play for them, why are we chasing him? Shouldn't it be a situation? It raised some red flags in my head, because shouldn't it be a situation where Mason Greenwood now realize that him don't have many options and is seeking redemption, so he's wanting to come and play for Jamaica. He is seeking the acceptance of the Jamaican people. No, it seemed like we are almost begging him to come and say, hey, we still over here, we still want you to play for you, even though them don't want you. Now we have to look into the reason why them don't want him. No, the PR is bad. Them not gonna ignore the charges, them not gonna ignore all of that. Does Mason Greenwood have the quality to play for England? Definitely. Definitely. Mason Greenwood is the top giant goal scorer from last year's League on campaign. He's a world-class talent. He's a world-class talent. He's a world-class talent. So would England gladly have him outside of the accusations, outside of the case, and outside of? Of course England would have him. But I just think that we should also be operating from a world-class standpoint as the JFF, as Jamaican football. You see me? So that is kind of something will come up in my head when we have a kind of side eye and say, oh, why do we accept this? I'm gonna say we because I want Mason Greenwood to come and play for Jamaica. I say I not ignore the situation. I say I not look upon him now as a person and say, oh, I love Mason Greenwood, but as a footballer, if we're talking about football and not personal issues, I want him to come and play for Jamaica. See? But what does that say about me? You know the question that we have to ask yourself and say, yo, them don't want him. Why me want him to come play? You know them where they are, why am I willing to overlook it? You know them where they? So from that perspective, people asking themselves that question, should we accept him? Should we accept him? I'm more here in the comment section. Should we accept him? Personally, I think people deserve a second chance. I'm not gonna say everybody deserves a second chance. People deserve a second chance. It's not up to me to have Mason Greenwood in the team. It is not up to me. But even if it was up to me, my gut is saying that I would still call him, I would still allow him to come play. It's just the way we are going about it. In the manner of it seems like we are seeking him out. Where you would almost believe that a player in this situation should be the other way around. He should be seeking Jamaica out because he needs the redemption. It's almost like we are saying, we don't care where they do. Come play for me, please. We need you to come play for me. Right? But if the shoe was on my feet, I would have him come play. And I wouldn't even be looking at it from a standpoint of even second chance, really. We would have looked upon it from a point of one, your accuser is no good with you. So why me I go hold you up in my heart? Yes, me remember. Yes, me know what you do. But am I going to hold it against you when the person where you commit the act against is not even holding it against you? You have to look upon it from that perspective. They're two people. So it's like I would have him come play. But I wouldn't be chasing him. So that's the only thing that rubbed the wrong way from the JFF perspective and from the Jamaican perspective. It seems like we're chasing after him. That's the only thing. But for me to answer the question, should we accept him and should we give him this redemption? Yes, because I would. But that doesn't mean that we should ignore what was done. Him apologize, him come and he make him statement and he's given a new lease on life. Can Jamaica be a part of that? Yes. I just don't think that we should be chasing to be a part of that. That's as far as my perspective goes. Not a perfect perspective. I probably need to think about it some more. But just off the top, people. I turn on the camera and just start recording. I make some quick questions for ask myself and I just go off the top right now. So probably the opinion I need to refine a little bit, but that's just something I do with it. I would accept him. I want him to come and play for Jamaica, but that doesn't change the fact that hey, I'm kind of side eye. You know what I mean? Alright, the next question that I'm going to ask is what does this mean for the Reggae Boys? Not just our chance of making it to the World Cup, but competing in the World Cup, competing in Gold Cup, competing in Nations League, and just being a good team. What does Mason Greenwood inclusion in the national setup mean for Jamaica and our chances of being a good team? One, I think this moves the needle a lot. Obviously, other things need to happen in terms of this team need this coach to actually be a good coach. We need the federation for continue acting like a good federation. Come on, tell you, we actually have some things that go on. The coach have performed well. Emergency meeting. You know, on the face of it, it seems that the JFF is being run properly at the moment. I don't know I don't have any inside information to say otherwise, so I'm just going to call it as I see it. See? But Mason Greenwood come play for Jamaica, we're automatically a better team. We're way more dangerous. We are now going to be favorites in way more games. Teams are going to still be better than us if we talk about USA, Canada, Mexico, Panama, some would say Costa Rica. But that gap would not be as wide as it is at the moment. We're talking about the leading goal scorer of a top 5 league in the world. That is the type of quality that we're getting. That is what we're going to get from Mason Greenwood if he comes and play for Jamaica. No, when he comes and play for Jamaica. So, automatically we're talking about winning a Nations League. Automatically we're talking about winning a Gold Cup. I think that's the type of quality that we're getting. It is going to move the needle. For sure, for sure. I don't want people... There's no two ways about it. Mason Greenwood is going to be the best Jamaican player. Someone say Liam Bailey. No, I think it is... After them 2 seasons they were the man just having a France, I think is out and away, running away with the title as the... If he comes to represent Jamaica, he's going to be the best Jamaican player at the moment. He's going to be the best reggae boy. And quality. Now him have to come and perform same way. And another perspective we have to look upon is, although I say that Mason Greenwood is a needle mover, he's a game winner, and he's going to make the team better, we have to look upon the fact say this team already have a lot of quality. You know, we're talking about Demar Gray, we're talking about Mikel Antonio, we're talking about Shema Nicholson, we're talking about Liam Bailey, we're talking about Ronaldo Cephas. You see me? We're talking about Damian Lowe, Ethan Pinnock, Andre Blake. These are top players in the leagues that they play in. You see me? Them man are playing on a joke league and on a joke team. We have players that are some of the best players in their leagues in this Jamaican team. So why are we not performing? You know, some can ask a question. If Mason Greenwood coming in, he's just going to look just like under Liam Bailey. Not efficient, not consistent, because he's playing with a team that is not efficient and not consistent. He's playing under a coach that doesn't believe in a system, in having a system. He's in a bad setup. A setup that lacks the necessary things that you need to be a good football team. That is another perspective that we need to look at. Really actually see the Mason Greenwood that is performing in France in this Jamaican team. It is not one for one people. We will not see exactly that. But I believe that if we get it right, we're talking about moving up the ranks. We're going to be in the top 50. For real, for real. Because we're talking about somebody we can just win the game for it. We're talking about somebody with the quality for just make something out of nothing. And we're talking about a young man. So, as I say, we are talking about challenging for Nations League, challenging for Gold Cup, going to the World Cup and actually trying to make some noise if Mason Greenwood is there. That is the quality. People tell me if I overrate Mason Greenwood, but this man is ridiculously good. We are talking about going to the World Cup in the group stage and trying to make some noise, getting some points here and there and trying to make it out of the group. This all needs to be permitted by a good coach having a good team, yes, and that is probably the most important thing, probably more important than Mason Greenwood performance itself, because that is what is going to allow him to perform well. But I think he's going to improve our team. One, he's going to make us a better team. He's going to get the team to actually compete for Gold Cups and Nations Leagues. He's going to help us in our performance in the World Cup by a lot. And the energy around the team just got to improve. Maybe I have another point I want to make, but I don't remember at the moment. I even remember before the video done. Now that we did say the last thing, but the actual last thing now is, where does Mason Greenwood fit in this team? Personally, I would place Mason Greenwood as a centre forward. I know that he can play on the right wing. I know that he can play on the wings. But for me, I think we need a lethal clinical striker. Somebody that knows how to find the goal. Somebody that knows what they're doing. Somebody that can create something out of nothing, as I said. Can score a goal in many ways. He's very rapid, he's quick, he's probably going to be the fastest player in the team. First touch, somebody can jump in at the midfield and help out. Somebody can rotate with a Liam Bailey on the wing or Demar Gray or Cephas on the wing. Can play anywhere across the front three. But for me, I see this man as the new goal scorer for Jamaica. I think we move away from players like Mikel Antonio. Warner Brown still be a part of the setup. Shema Nicholson still be a part of the setup. But as far as Mason Greenwood, I think I want to see him as a centre forward. I want to see him as a goal scorer, and I want to see him as the man leading the line and leading the charge for Jamaica. Again, people, this has to be permitted by a good coach with a good system and a good team. A good, well-organized, properly run team. That is what is going to allow us to see not only the best from Mason Greenwood, but the best from anybody that is in this team. You see me? So just a quick run over, review the video real quick. First thing we mentioned is, do we need Mason Greenwood? And we need to hear an opinion on that. The next thing is, should we accept him? Should we give him the redemption that he needs? Yes, that is the point I want to make. Remember, I'll go back to that point there. Should we give him the redemption that he needs? Or some would say that he needs. I don't think Mason Greenwood redemption. Mason Greenwood is one of the best players in the world, joint top goal scorer in the league, and if him don't play another day of international football, Mason Greenwood will be fine. He's stinking rich. His reputation is getting repaired just by what he's doing at the club level. Do some charity, do some PR, he'll be fine. Mason Greenwood can play for Jamaica because he want to work up, he want that experience, and him now can play for England. Don't get it twisted. Mason Greenwood doesn't love Jamaica, at least at the moment. Mason Greenwood, growing up, didn't want to play for Jamaica. Before his scandal, wasn't interested in playing for Jamaica, and so the situation just presented itself. Don't get it twisted. But with all that said, I don't think Mason Greenwood needs redemption. I don't think him not playing for Jamaica is going to change how his career turn out. I don't think playing for Jamaica is going to change the trajectory or direction of his career. I don't think that is going to happen. The only thing we can say, this is what Mason Greenwood would need to do. Feel like Real Madrid or Barcelona call him. Because right now, with what he's doing and the quality we him have, why one of them team do not look for him? Why PSG not try going for Mason Greenwood? It don't make sense. Why not? He's definitely the type of talent where you go for now. Mason Greenwood go to the World Cup, score 4 goals in the group stage. Jamaica make it to the round of 16, make some nice. Mason Greenwood might get a call from Real Madrid. Maybe. That's a maybe. But as far as redemption and coming back up, I think he's fine. I think he will be fine. You see me? So that was the point I'm going to forget, and that was what I was talking about, the second point. Third point was, what does it mean for the Reggae Boys and our chances? The fourth point was, where does he fit in our system? As I said, me would have played my centre forward, but you tell me where you know what I want to see. You see it. Nice and short again, people. Nice looking video. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to this side of Sports TV. But the one more thing for me, and that's to share the video to at least 10 people. Get us 6 subscribers, because each and every one of you guys can manage to do that. Do you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end of the day? For now, this was this side of Sports TV. I got my gun.